is up, baby? It's Space Talk time. Now, I know traditionally, y'all used to the utmost experience with Deke, me and the homie them, Deke. But my dog is under the weather. My dog is under the weather. So, we got to be a little flexible and we got to make adjustments where and when we can. So that's why you're getting the boy solo today. But we got plenty that we're going to discuss. Obviously, we got roster cuts going on right now. So we're going to react to some of those roster reductions. We also, if anyone still has questions about the game that we did have, that final preseason game against the Lions, well, your boy done cut that tape on that went back deep dove. Shout out to Zach Frazier also. He's also got a film session coming this week, all right? I thought it was safe to do one on him, since he's more than likely going to be starting, in a week from now, all right? So we got to talk about that. We also, going to look around the league, see who is, potentially becoming unemployed with the chance of them coming over to us. So you know how that's going to vibe out. And then, of course, any of your comments and questions, we're going to have a little fun talking about that today as well. But yeah, man, shout out to the homie Matt R sending up the prayer hands for the homie Deke, telling him get well soon. Yes, yes, yes. We sending all the good energy to the homie, man. I was talking with him yesterday. I was like, yo, you sound down. It's like, yo, we're going to reschedule today. Well, my man called me this morning, man. I was like, Lord, bro, whatever that is, like, just keep it over there. Like, I don't want that, whatever is going on. Hopefully 24 hours you better, but like, just keep that. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we at right now, man. But shout out to the homie Deke, man. Shout out to the homie, man. But shoot, man, since we are here, man, a little bit earlier of a vibe today as well, man, since we are on the Tuesday kick, not our traditional Monday, Wednesday, Thursday action. Let's start it off like how we normally do. I mean, for the ones that have been kicking it with us for a while, y'all actually do remember we used to do these little noon Tuesday vibes, except we had the homie Zach Banner with us, right? It was members only. So, this is also a concept that I'm flirting with doing more of in season, adding this Tuesday noon stream where, we just kind of react, talk about, what's going on around the league or anything specifically pertaining to the Steelers that we didn't get a chance to address in Monday's show. So by the end of the day, you guys let me know in the comment section, if you're digging that concept or not in terms of the additional solo show on Tuesday while still doing the Monday, Wednesday, Thursday podcast with Deke and Space Talk, obviously every time the game is over, man, reacting and stuff like that. But let's do it like we do. All right. Drop it in the comment section where you are tuning in from. And in that way, I give you those big boy shout outs to start today's show. And of course, hit that like button one time for the culture or hit it one time for the homie Deke. And subscribe if you are new to the channel, baby. Said always a blast when we get to get up here and get a little interaction, a little talky talk. I see V. Jacob Malay say he remembers the Banner Tuesdays. Yeah, the Don Hefe Quan tapping in the 323 Watts, California. Salute the Watts. Frank K all the way out there in the 520 Tucson, Arizona. Shout out to my Arizona people in the building. Tommy Vincent. Yo, what up, Moats? Man, what's happening, Tommy? Checking in all the way from Colorado Springs, and he's up here working. Hey, salute you, punching that clock, getting that money, baby. That's what it's all about. You already know what time it is. Malvo does it, tapping in with me. One time for the 562 Long Beach, California. And see, I was thinking about you and all the other Cali people that tap in when we stream over here to make this that noon versus that 9 a.m. 9 a.m. for the boy is perfect, but I know what 9 a.m. is for you guys out there on the West Coast, man. So hopefully you're appreciative of this little 9 a.m. for your time, all right? Then the homie, oh, man, we back-to-back Cali. Jar Devil in the 310 San Pedro, California. Can't forget the homie Rod Dollars in the 330 Youngstown, Ohio. And, of course, it's always share a line, baby. Share a line. Tristan Love in the 704 Charlotte. Shout out to Charlotte, North Carolina, baby. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Jerry Kirkland in the 804 Petersburg, VA in the house. He says, what up? What's happening, Jerry? Man, appreciate you rocking with me today. David Soto, all the way from Chicago. Definitely appreciate you rocking with me as well, man. Oh, and the homie BMBG Cole in the Buffalo, that rough buff 716. If you know, you know. Love that and lifted ones all about there in Sacktown, baby. Salute to you. Salute to you, man. Hey, Tommy, I'm with you, bro. Cali is in the building this morning, man. Y'all are out. Y'all are heavy in the spot, man. We appreciate the heck out y'all this morning, man. Hey, I like that, baby. I like that a lot. Let me see. Let me see. We're gonna end it with the homie. Oh, all right, all right. Looks like we got XXIV hours, man. I don't know what that. I feel like that's like a Roman numeral, and I should know this off the top of my head. So is that 20? Oh, you said 24 hours. Ah, that's what I think it is, right? I think it's 24 hours. 24 hours representing the 661. So shout out to you repping in the 661. And then Jack Bauer in New York City, the 718. If you know, man. Salute you for all that, man. I like it. I like it. Oh, and Spice Creations, we're going to have to talk. You off the top rope already. It says motivation, but Beanie isn't ready. Uh-oh. All right, Spice. We're going to come back to that, Spice. We're going to come back to that one there. I like your energy, though. Already, baby. Already. All right, we got a couple super chats coming in here in the building as well, man. You know I appreciate any and all supers, man. So from the heart, definitely appreciate you. Let's go, UW, sparking this thing off. He says, thoughts on grabbing Alec Lindstrom as a backup center. He was an interesting prospect in 2022 in that draft coming out of Boston College. Yeah, I do actually remember Alec Lindstrom. Let me see what's currently going on with him. I feel like his name just popped up recently this week too. Yeah, he's been out in LA. Hold on, let me see. But I say, because that would be interesting, especially understanding that we are also going to be having a rookie going out there week 1. Doesn't hurt to have a little bit of, decent backup man, or a guy that is not far removed from being a high pedigree pick. Almost kind of similar to the Jahan Dotson thing. I want to see exactly when he was picked up, if I remember correctly. So the Rams did waive him. That's what's going on. But I remember, yeah, highly decorated. Out of Boston. Okay, so they signed with the Cowboys initially. That's where he was. Then spent some time in the UFL, and then was with the Rams last year. All right. But yeah, for me, man, I think it's an interesting name. I guess I definitely remember him coming out. I definitely remember us talking about him as well. As a center, I think that could definitely provide some depth. At the same time, I don't feel like if I'm, having to pick between center versus tackle depth, I think I'm kind of leaning towards that tackle position a little bit more just right now, because I still think we're very young and it's questionable the depth that we have at that position. Whereas I still feel like at center, we got Zach Frazier, who obviously, second round draft pick for us. We're very excited about him being here, but we still, could use a Ryan McCullum. He could bump inside there. We talked about Mason McCormick potentially taking some snaps in there. We know James Daniel has his history collegiately of being a center. So if it was ever a jam, we could slide him over and then put one of those younger guys that I just named at the guard position next to him. So that's my only, hesitancy in terms of why I would say we don't need to do it right now, but he's very interesting if we were to pick him up, man. I don't, hate the name, put it like that, man. So I could definitely dig that, man. So shout out to you. Let's go, UW. We also have R Barley 18. He says, can we let Loudermilk walk and get Ika? Ooh, that's what the vibe is. Okay. He says, God, it's been 8 years since we had a good nose tackle. Same time frame middle linebacker issues started. Odd, isn't it? No, I can see the correlation there. Obviously there are more variables along with it, like the injury to Ryan Shazier that changed a ton of stuff. And now that we do have a Patrick Queen along with Peyton Wilson and Landon Roberts, we saw even last year when we upgraded to a Cole Holcomb how that inside linebacker play was a lot better. So yes, the nose tackle position is significant. It does matter, but at the same time, having athleticism and just better players at the middle linebacker position also has an impact as well. My only, I guess, hesitancy is just with the amount of nickel that we do play. How often am I going to be able to utilize them? And I know that's been the conversation. That's part of what we talk about when we're looking at drafting nose tackles or even paying nose tackles in free agency. It's kind of like, man, you can bring them over, but how often are they utilized? Because we do play a ton of the nickel stuff. We talk about nickel is, becoming the global base defense because of how offenses are playing. And with Loudermilk, obviously his game is a little bit more geared towards that nickel, being able to be a 3 technique, bumping down to a 1, but still giving you a little bit more of the pass rush stuff. Whereas obviously we talk about Mr. Ika. I mean, that's big body. That's like OG nose tackle vibes right there. We talked about him. Was that 2 years ago when he came out of Baylor? I think it was. But with him, man, it's like we know his game is going to be more so dominance in the run game, but you're not going to get as much from a pass perspective. And that's, like I said, the only thing that would kind of make me hesitant about him. But let me see where he is in terms of availability, because those could be two very different things. Like if we're talking about giving up assets or having to, make trades for him, I'm not as fond of that, just because we're talking about how often we're going to utilize him. But if we are simply saying he's available, which he is not, yeah, he's still in Cleveland right now. Yeah. I think that's going to be a little bit of a tough one, baby. But obviously a heck of a player, man, when you're talking about him versus the run. That is what he specializes in. But that's my only thing, man. But I wish if it was that simple of just trading Loudermilk for a Siaki Aika. I mean, I would like that. But I don't think that that's going to be the case, man, unfortunately. But we shall see. We shall see. All right, let's go, UW. He says some interesting names that should be on the Steelers' radar: Keenan Isaac, Tim Patrick, C.J. Henderson. Okay, you talking. Siaki Aika, who we were just talking about, Noah Brown, and Terrell Edmonds. All right, I like these names. I'm very familiar with the last three. Obviously, C.J., man, heck of a player. We were talking about him a couple of seasons ago, if I remember correctly, of us potentially having some interest in him. So I definitely wouldn't hate that. And he plays a position that we need, corner, right? Not, like I said, not as familiar with Keenan Isaac. Wasn't watching a ton of him down in Tampa. We need to obviously, look back on him. Edmonds, I like the familiarity though. When you're talking about now, but where is he at though? Because I want to say he just signed with Jacksonville. Unless something weird happened. Let's see. Hopefully nothing weird happened down there, man. But I say, because I know Rail just signed with Jacksonville a couple of weeks ago. Let's make sure he's still employed on today. I forgot a day like today. Oh, no. Jaguars cut former Steelers first round pick, Terrell Edmonds. Okay. That makes it a lot more interesting. Okay. So that's why a day like today, it gets spicy, baby. We know at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, that is when the official all rosters have to be down to 53 players. So, yeah, you're going to get these type of moves right there, man, where a guy like Edmonds gets released. But that's very interesting over here. At the same time, we're kind of crowded. I don't know. I like the heck out of Edmonds, though, man. I think that, in terms of what he brings to the table as a safety, versatility, the tackling, the physicality, availability, those are all things that you like. Those are things that I like about his game. But at the same time, when I think of Deshaun Elliott, I'm like, man, I feel like I already kind of have that. And we just brought him in. Then I also have a Ryan Watts, who gives me the youth element. Then I have the DeMonte Case, who kind of gives me more of the coverage stuff. And then we know Minka. But it wouldn't hurt to have him around. Tell you that, man, because he gives you some dime versatility as well. It could be in that dime linebacker spot while we're waiting on the young guy, Peyton Wilson, to get up to speed, or whoever else if injuries happen. I mean, he could give you some of that. So I ain't tripping. Shout out to Terrell Edmonds, though, man. Dang, that sucks my dog got down there, man. But yeah, we just don't need a safety right now. We just don't need one. I could try to talk myself into where I could play him. I play him as a dime linebacker and do that. But yeah, we just kind of a little stuck right now, man. But, Joe, these are some definitely interesting names. Let me check on C.J. Henderson as well, see what's going on with him from an employment status standpoint. Like I said, on a day like today, man, it gets weird. All right. All righty. Not seeing any change in employment for C.J. Let me see. I feel like his employment's... actually. Huh. All right. So that's oh no, he's not a value yet. Down in Houston still. Okay. All right. So yeah. No new update on that just yet. But yeah, we shall see, man. Like I said, we'll definitely keep the NFL roster tracker going right now, man. Obviously, we know we are making our way through our rounds of cuts, and before we get further into these supers, and shout out to all y'all that are rocking with me today, man. Like I said, man, solo vibe. The homie Deke is under the weather. So y'all send good thoughts and prayers out to the homie, man. Hopefully he be bouncing back and we get him back in the saddle tomorrow. But if not, then you'll just get more of the homie, all right? But let's update real quick and see what's currently going on from a roster perspective. Roster cuts that are officially on NFL.com. I know there are some other ones kind of lingering on social media. They just haven't been officially filed just yet, so that's why I'm just waiting for all that to be officially taken care of. But as we currently sit, the Steelers have released Dejon Edwards. We obviously know the running back, rookie out of Georgia this year. Tariq Black, Jacob Copeland, TJ Luther, Tyler Beach, Devery Hamilton. He was the tackle that was playing in his last game versus the Lions. Anderson Hardy, Marquise Spencer, Kaiva Tazino, Graylin Arnold. Interesting. Anthony Averett, obviously another guy that we brought over this offseason, man, but another interesting move. Kaylon Barnes got released. Kyler McMichael, Nathan Meters, Keandre Thomas, and Deke's second favorite kicker, Matthew Wright. Alrighty. So like I said, that's where we are currently sitting at from our roster standpoint. A couple of other notable Steelers. Shout out to Mason Rudolph, notable former Steelers. Looks like he won the backup quarterback job with Tennessee. Man, we know Malik Willis was traded today to the Green Bay Packers, so salute to him. And also looking like Kenny Pickett, man. Look like he might be locking in that backup spot over there in Philly, man. All right, so keep your eyes up on that too, man. Since we know that those are some of our, old school homies that was rocking with us that are no longer here. Now, I see Alex Papamichael asking about bringing back Martavis. He did score the game-winning tutty in that preseason game a couple days ago for the Commanders. I did not check his employment status just yet, though, man. We'll check his. Oh, are we up here? Let's check the homie real quick. What's that? NFC East. Where are we? Oh, yeah, they already got him. Dang, Sam Hartman got. Tay got. J.C. Hassenauer. Yeah, so you know what? Alec Lindstrom is an interesting name, but J.C. Hassenauer is also an interesting name if we're just talking centers, right? The center conversation, J.C. Hassenauer spent time here. We're familiar with this game. I do like his game. I like what he brings from a fundamental standpoint. Not as athletically gifted as some of these other guys, but still a good player that can play both center and guard spots. So not tripping on if that was going to be a reunion. Just throwing it out there, all right? But yeah, man. Shout out to Tato, man. Hey, did look good. Making a touchdown catch. We'll see what happens with him once the dust kind of settles with today's, mass overhauls of rosters. The other guy that I see you Cookie Monster talking about him. I saw it on social media. I'm just waiting for it to be like officially on NFL.com or Steelers.com. But yeah, Kyron Johnson, that was another one, man. Pass rush for us. He wore number 53. I like this get off, man. I thought that he showed a nice burst, man, getting off the ball, but the production wasn't there consistently enough in the sense of QB hits, sacks, etc. So I can understand that a little bit, but I'll be interested to see who do they decide to keep versus if they ultimately dumb it down to TJ Highsmith Herbig and then make that fourth guy somebody from another roster that's potentially getting released. That'd be an interesting part because we know Kyron Johnson, we know Julius Welshoff, we know Jeremiah Moon were all guys that played well at various points throughout this preseason. But Kyron Johnson was also part of that conversation as well. But I do feel like he was probably the fourth out of that group of names in production in comparison to a Jeremiah Moon who we saw get home, make some plays. We saw Julius Welshoff have multiple sacks throughout the preseason as well. And y'all hit that like button if y'all dig into today's space talk, man. Like I said, man, the homie is unavailable, so we going solo. All right, but if you're digging it, man, let me know. Like it up one time and don't forget to subscribe if you are new to the channel, baby. Take a sip of this here H2O. Stay high quality with it. Hydration is key. Dang, Alex Papamichael, don't do him like that. He said, we just giving everybody number 53 now. Jeez. In response to Kyron Johnson being released, and we obviously know the 53 prior to Kyron Johnson was what? Kendrick Green. And yeah, it's been a little bit different. Man. All right. We got the homie AJ Martinez. Shout out to you, AJ. Always a pleasure to have you in the building with the boy, man. He says, long live the Diggler. 55 Fly. Frank K. The Don El Jefe Quan. Jaren, Pittsburgh Steelers for life. Jar Devil, X1 Concepts, Bro Barian. Here we go, Steelers, rock out, get well, Deke. Shout out to AJ Martinez doing the shout outs like no other person can do them. So shout out to you, baby, and appreciate the support. You already know this, man. Now, Steven Swift, you telling me Press back on the market today? No way, man. No way. He was killing it over there in San Fran this preseason, man, putting that ball. But if that is the case, which, yeah, it is. His name is up there now, man. Yeah. That's unfortunate, man, but I do feel like he did a heck of a job this preseason with the opportunity that was given to him, and he put himself in a great position to find employment in a hurry, or at least be on the short list for if somebody's punter goes down in the season or isn't performing at a high level. He'll be one of those guys that you'll see getting called up in a hurry, very similar to Matthew Wright. Think about how we've looked at Matthew Wright. He had a really good preseason with us, and he's one of the guys that we constantly call back, whether it is for preseason opportunities or if, we have injuries to the kicking position. So for Presley, he's definitely, I feel like, from my perspective, put himself in one of those positions right now. Man, San Fran also released Matt Breida, Sean Vaughn, Frank Darby, John Trey, Kirkland, and Lewis Kidd as well. Okay. But yeah, shout out. All right, let's see. Ant Dog 777 in the building. Shout out to Ant Dog 777. He says, yo, Moats, how you feel about trading for Mechie? Listen, the fact that that's your first super chat, salute you. The fact that your first super chat is asking about trading for Mechie, I like even more, so double salute you, okay? Because, yeah, man, John Mechie, I think, is a dope player. We were obviously excited about him coming out of Bama. Dude can run really fast. He's elusive, and he can catch really well. We obviously know with him, he came out and had the whole heart situation, or it was like the cancer situation, I want to say, beat that, and now, had one season under his belt. I just don't know what it's going to cost for us to get him, because for Houston, I don't know how they view him. He's a guy that they spent, nice capital on, but they are very crowded in that room. So do you look at him as expendable, or are they looking at him and just saying, hey, wait your turn, Diggs on a 1-year rental. Once he leaves, now that opens up a lot more space for you. Then we'll see what we do contract-wise, Nico, Collins, Tank Dell, etc. going forward. So maybe for Mechie, man, they might, look at him as, man, we have longer-term plans for you. You kind of work yourself back to where you were when we drafted you. But if he's on the market, if they don't like him and they want to allow him to move, man, trust me, I'm a big fan of John Mechie, man, and I would say go get him, man, because I think he helps us out in a major way. But we shall see, man. But like I said, I don't think that they're gonna do that with Mechie, man, personally. All right, and AJ Martinez spinning the block, shouting out the Jacob Malacio along with 900 Juice, Michael G, and David D, aka the homies, the gang, the squad, man. Shout out to all of y'all rocking with us today. AJ Martinez also paying it forward, gifting an upper room membership to the homie Joseph Donovan. So AJ, shout out to you being an absolute rock star, paying it forward, and for your ultra support of the channel. And to the homie Joseph Donovan, welcome to the upper room. Yes, indeed, man. Shout out to each and every one of y'all rocking with us, man. And another update, man. Like I said, man, the season is here, but we a team over here, all right? So make sure y'all check out the website, arthurmoats.com, man. The homie David Dupree, aka DD Smalls. We know he does a lot of the behind-the-scenes stuff for us, for the channel, man, but he been making sure that website is nice and crispy, man. So y'all check that out, man. Some of the content that is being placed up there, man. And, like I said, man, even some of y'all with y'all voicemails and your phone calls in, y'all get featured on the website. So definitely check in with that, man. And another update. Not going to have phone lines today, but if the homie is still unavailable tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow be the regular 4 o'clock time frame. If he's available, then we back solid. But if he's not, we probably have them phone lines open, man, so that we can get some of your thoughts on all of the moves that are going to be officially done by the time we are finished up today here, all right? We'll get our reactions on that tomorrow, okay? So definitely appreciate y'all for that. AJ Martinez also shouts out Mike Hood, the Cookie Monster, Hannibal, and every remix. Yo! Shout out to AJ, man. Shout out to you. He said it don't matter. He said it could be 12 o'clock, it could be 1 o'clock, it could be 10 o'clock at night. When AJ show up, AJ shows up. That's what AJ do. So shout out to AJ Martinez, man. One time for the culture. Let's go, you Dub. Also solid in the building. He says, those are all names that are released, just FYI. Okay, so shout out to you for that, man. So going back to Let's Go, you Dub, the names that he was bringing up. We talked about Keenan Isaac, Tim Patrick, C.J. Henderson, Saki Ika, Noah Brown, and Terrell Edmonds. So I like the fact that you were already ahead of the game on that, man, because some of them dudes, like I said, they hadn't updated the websites just yet, man, NFL.com, to officially show who was available and who wasn't. So, yeah, that makes it a little bit more interesting. CJ, obviously, man, high pedigree guy, has experience, but at the same time, hasn't always produced or been available. But I think at this stage is very interesting if you were to bring him into the situation just to see what it is. Now, I wish I could go back and watch, him this preseason to see specifically what he looked like. But just based off of pedigree and reputation, I think it would be interesting to bring him in. Saki Ika is also very interesting in that case, man. I see a ton. I don't know. I think it's like, Antoine Livingston. He brought up, can Corey Trice play in the slot? Now, last game versus the Lions, they were utilizing Corey Trice in the slot at times. And I thought that he played it well. I just wonder with the different body types that he's going to face in actual regular season, those type of slots, I think he could struggle a little bit just because of the size that he has. He's more built for the outside, big body down the grass guys, whereas those slots, man, you're going to get more of the smaller, quicker, quick in and out of their break type of guys that traditionally the bigger, longer corners will struggle with. So I think situationally he can get away with it, but I don't know if we would want that full time. And I think that's why a guy like Beanie Bishop had really been more favorable or more appealing to us from a slot corner standpoint. But that's the part why I say with CJ Henderson, man, I'm like, maybe with CJ, that could potentially give you some of that because he's a little bit of a smaller version versus Corey, who's more like a mutant hitting out, standing out on the outside, man. Yeah, because I'm going to say Corey. Yeah, Corey's still 6'1", but I mean, not Corey. Jeez. CJ Henderson is 6'1", but he still feels like more of the shorter, that style corner. Whereas if you look at Corey Trice, he looks like a wide receiver out there on the defensive side of the ball. Like, my man is big mutant, man. Big mutant. Shout out to Rashawn Jones. See you in the building with us as well. Yeah, Spice Creation. Shout out. Corey is 6'3". I was about to say, yeah, the difference is CJ looks like a Joe Hayden type corner where it's you 5'11", 6 footish, you're all 5'11" to 6'1" on the football field. It all kind of just looks the same. I ain't even gonna lie to you. It kind of looks the same. That 6'3" though, you'd be like, woo, all right, yeah, you're standing out over there, bro. You look really, really tall over there, man. But in Juice Bellamy, man, CJ could have been struggling, this preseason, but I think it's a different conversation when we're asking to play in a slot. I think it's a different conversation because of the matchups that you're getting. And that's the part where, like I said, I wish I could go back and watch more of it in this moment. But for right now, man, if we're just simply just asking the question about it without me having to go back and watch every single detail, I'm thinking athletic profile. I'm thinking where he was drafted. I'm thinking also the amount of time that he spent in this league. And I'm comparing that to the undrafted guys. I'm comparing that to the unproven rookies. I'm comparing that to the guys that are either undersized or have something else going on, and you're just kind of asking yourself, man, which one do you think would give you the highest probability of success? And CJ's name is going to be in those conversations based off everything that I kind of just said right there. So, like I said, that's kind of where we're at with it, man. But like I said, we will see, man. It's a reason also why he's bounced around a little bit. You have to be consistent regardless of how talented you are. We can go down the list of high-end pedigree guys or guys with elite level athleticism that never really turn into professional football players where they can consistently be out there and do it time and time again. It's one of the reasons why it's the toughest game, because it's a lot that goes into it, man. It's not just, are you talented? It's, can you also be tough? Can you also be smart? Are you durable? And all of that has to be working in your favor. And for CJ, that hasn't been the case per se, but we shall see, man. All right, we got Rashawn Jones tapping in the building as well. He says, much love, Moats and chat. Says, I'm happy with Rush starting, but excited about the future with Justin Fields. Hope we actually take time for him to develop And yeah, hope we take time for him to develop him. And yeah, hope we take time to develop whenever he's up. Okay, so I think what he's saying is at the end, whenever it is time for him to play, hopefully we've taken the right amount of time to allow him to develop so that way we'll get the best version of him. And I do agree, man. I think that if we allow Justin Fields to develop, if we allow Justin Fields to just sit and learn from Russ, watch film, learn how Russ sees the field, learn how Russ goes through his progressions, watch how Russ commands the offense. These are all things that Justin Fields should be aspiring to become because Russ has already reached the pinnacle of his position. He's led a team to a Super Bowl championship. He's led himself to multiple second contract and third contract situations. Justin Fields is still at the very beginning of his NFL career. And, he's kind of at that first crossroads, so to speak, where he did get moved on from in Chicago and now he's here in Pittsburgh. So to keep that from happening again and, having to find another team and another place of employment, man, lock in here. Get as much information, as much knowledge as you can from a guy like Russ, who is a heck of an asset to have for a player like Justin. And then, man, when it's your time, man, then go out there and show all the things that you've learned and how much you've improved and how better you are. But if it happens prematurely, yeah, it could set him back and it could ultimately put that stamp on him where this is his label and we don't take off that label for anything. I don't want it to get to that, but he's kind of in that range of if it doesn't turn for him sooner rather than later, it could get to that. So like I said, we shall see with them though, man. But shout out to the homie Justin Fields, man. And yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with you, man, in terms of Russ starting. I think it's appropriate, man, because of what he brings, his body of work and the leadership, all the things I just talked about. I think that early on in the season where things do tend to be weird because you have a lot of moving pieces, a lot of just new identities, new guys developing into new roles. You do want that calming presence at quarterback, and Russ, from my perspective, provides that at a higher clip right now than what Fields would. But at the same time, man, if it comes down to Justin Fields at some point this season, man, we're going to ride with him and hope for the best. But I do like the fact that we are rocking with Russ today, man. Hey, and shout out to you, James Skitka. Yeah, I think I said it right, Skitka. Shout out to James Skitka, man. I see you dropping a 20 burger in the building, man. I ain't want to jump out the order, but you dropping a 20 on a day like today, man. Salute you, baby. All right, I know I'm solo dolo, so hey, man, respect, man. And then also see you say thanks for doing the show today for us. Nah, man, salute you, salute everybody that's in this chat today, man. Whether it's a super chat, regular chat, it doesn't matter, and even the audio only crowd that y'all gonna get this on the back end. And for everybody else that's gonna watch this on the full replay, man, salute y'all. We appreciate the heck out y'all, man. The channel only goes as y'all go. You know this. Y'all show that love and the support, man. We keep the content rolling, baby, all right? But definitely appreciate you, man, from the heart. All right. And like I said, man, I hit the like button for yourselves today. Shout out to y'all. I see the Don Hefe Quan. He always keeping it solid in the chat too. I see him all hit the like button, exclamation points, emojis up there. I like your energy, man. I like your energy. We say teamwork make the dream work, man. And shout out to you, Craig Ellis, man. All love and respect to you as well, man. Like how we rocking on this channel. We've created a nice little space over here of Steeler fandom. All right, it's a safe place to talk, kick it, have a little fun. You know how we do. All right. Let's go, UW. Says, having DeMarvin Leal be your fourth outside linebacker and defensive line hybrid type of guy, if that is the idea, is a mistake. In my opinion, that could come back to bite them. In theory, it could, but at the same time, it could be your ability to keep an extra wide receiver or keep an extra DB or even an extra offensive lineman or a potential running back, just depending on where we want to spend that extra piece at, because DeMarvin is capable of playing, up and down this defensive line. Just watching him throughout this preseason, whether, like I said, we're starting at OTAs, watching him out there, seeing his versatility, seeing how lean his body looked, watching him at training camp, seeing how when the pass came on, he was able to consistently keep making the same plays and flashing and showing that same effort that we were seeing in OTAs. Then from the training camp situation, taking it to the preseason game. And then you're talking preseason 1 versus the Texans, preseason 2 versus the Bills, or preseason 3 versus the Lions. DeMarvin Leal flashed in each of those games, whether it was versus the run or the pass. when I look at that type of development and I look at throughout that process, they're playing him at right outside linebacker, left outside linebacker, right 3 technique, left 1 technique. And this dude is still making plays at all of those spots. And his fundamentals, more importantly, from my perspective, were the things that really stood out because of how consistently they were. That to me makes me feel a little bit more at ease versus let me keep DeMarvin Leal at one position, but now the guy that I'm going to bring as my 4th outside linebacker, I don't even want to see him on the field. I don't think that is a benefit just because I have a different 4th guy. To me, it's like, man, if DeMarvin is the best 4th rusher, along with being our 3rd, best interior guy, man, you could utilize him at both spots because you're going to rotate these interior D linemen. Think about it, right? We know that Larry Ogunjobi and Cam Hayward are going to get the lion's share of those reps because that's where the most money is invested, right? But then after that, you still got a Keanu Benton, who we still are going to be heavily on that field, and that's probably the next guy up. Then after that is when we're talking the DeMarvin Leal situation. So when I look at that, I also say, man, he could still bump out there to outside, and how often is he getting on the field in terms of true pass rush? You got Highsmith who's making a ton of money. You got TJ Watt who's making a ton of money. Those dudes aren't taking a ton of snaps off. But you also have a Nick Herbig over there as well. So now when I think of how often would I need DeMarvin out there and how often is he going to get reps at interior, I think this is a way that kind of gets him on the field more frequently. And my hope is the production that we've been seeing from him this training camp and this preseason, with more reps on the field, we can get more of that production happening in stadium. But if we just keep DeMarvin as a rotational interior D lineman, well, now he has to wait for Cam Hayward to come off the field. He has to wait for Larry Ogunjobi to come off the field. And that's with the hope that it's not nickel. And when that guy comes off the field, they put Keanu Benton out there in front of him. I just think that, man, we're talking the difference of him playing 20% of the snaps of defense versus him playing about 40% of the snaps on defense. I think that could be a bigger boost for him, and it could ultimately help his production out. So that's the only reason why I don't think it's the big mistake that could come back to bite them. I think the only way that happens is if he plays bad at it, right? Or if he looks overwhelmed, which I haven't seen. I felt like in the past that was the case, but right now I haven't felt like that watching him. I think that he is fully capable of playing both of those spots right now. Because he's not a starter at either one, I think you can really get away with it, but ultimately get that uptick in production from him as well. But shout out to you, though. Let's go, UW. I like how you vibing, baby. Let's get it. AJ Martinez sliding back through the set. Shouting out the homie Rashawn Jones. He says, yeah. Shout out to Rashawn Jones, man. Shout out to Rashawn. And then Chase Greaves. I think I said that right. I could have butchered it, but either way, you know what my heart said, all right? He says, do you think we will pick up Caleb Farley, the DB? Shout out to you first off for that being your 10th super chat as well, man. Definitely appreciate you rocking with the channel as much as you do. All right, let me check out Caleb Farley. I know he was down in Tennessee for a while. Yeah. So yeah, he's getting released. All right, that is happening because that was the first round out of Tech. Was that 3 years ago or 4 years ago? Ooh, it's 3 years ago. 2021. Yup. If I remember correctly, though, he came into the league banged up, I felt like, man. That's always been his issue. He's been hurt a lot. So the decision doesn't come as much of a surprise, considering the fact that Farley was limited to just 12 games over his first 3 seasons in the league. He was also currently dealing with a hamstring injury this training camp that's kept him limited. And then, we knew they brought in L'Jarius Sneed and Awuzie over there as well. Excuse me, Awuzie. Yeah, butchered it. I like Caleb's talent. I don't like Caleb's health. So for me personally, I would say no, especially knowing that he's currently injured at the time. He's dealing with the hamstring injury on top of all the other injuries that he sustained while down in Tennessee and being injured coming into the league as well. Yeah, I'm cool on him for right now, but he's definitely talented though. But yeah, the reason why it kind of gives me the vibes, I'm drawing a blank on my man that we brought over from the Commanders. Was that last year or 2 years ago? We traded from middle of the season. He had a nice little contract on him, played DB. We were excited about him being here, and we were thinking, oh man, yeah, it's just a Washington situation. He just wasn't happy there. He's gonna come here, it's gonna be different. And we never saw him play. He never got a chance to get up out there, man. He went literally to injured reserve after us making the move for him. William Jackson, shout out to Boo Man 318. That's exactly the guy I'm talking about. Yeah, Caleb Farley right now gives me William Jackson vibes, man. I like it. I'm excited about the talent. I'm excited about the athleticism. But when I think of the availability, I just don't want that situation again, man. And if Caleb is currently already banged up and he has a history of being banged up where he came into this league already banged up, yeah, man. I'm just like, I don't want to go right road. I'd much rather go CJ Henderson. If I got to pick between the two, I would go CJ personally. But I think, yeah, either way, it's like, yeah, they banged up, bro. All right, well, yeah, let's get another quick update and see what's going on because I think I've caught up on all the super. So shout out to y'all for the super chat love that's going on today, man. Like I said, man, we solo streaming it because the homie Deke is under the weather. All right, we had to, shuffle it, move a little bit, but this is what we do, okay? It's season time, baby. It's gonna be like that, man. Somebody go down, hey man, pick up the slack. All right, next man up. You know how we rolling over here. So yeah, let's see. Do we have any new fresh updates from a roster standpoint, releases and things along that nature? And then we'll take a look around the league at some of these other guys that are getting released today. So nothing new officially on NFL.com. Okay. So yeah, no new names for the Steelers just yet. We know we got 3 hours remaining, or a little bit under 3 hours remaining on the East Coast because, like I said, this is a 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the roster cuts are officially done. 5:30, or not 5:30, 4 p.m. Cutting the roster down to 53 players, and then from there we'll see the ripple effects of that afterwards. But right now, it's that process of who's getting released, who's available. Call them up on the phone, like we doing right now, baby. Ooh, now the Jacob Malacio asked a good question. He says, Moats, what's your thoughts on Washington stealing our colors? Sorry if I'm repeating, but I'm driving. Nah, baby, you good. And be careful while you are driving. Please don't be communicating in the chat unless you are at a stopped position, okay? We don't need you getting hurt or hurting anybody else, all right? Even though we do appreciate the love. I'm not a fan of it, but I think it looks good. I feel like our colorway is the best colorway. You throw that black and gold on, and the way that they murdered the black out. Dude, I know you saw the Jaden Daniels warm-up pick when he had the blacked out visor on with the... Man, I'm like, bruh, of course it's fire, it's fuego. But it looks just like what we got. It's just like a more modern version. That's all they did. They took their little bit and modernized it. But yeah, what they say, imitation is the highest form of flattery for some, or is just flat out annoying. But either way, man, shout out to us being the trendsetters with that. But yeah, I ain't even gonna hold you, man. It was pretty clean. It was pretty clean. Maybe it was because I saw Jaden Daniels in it first with the blacked out visor, and that's what made me go like that. I don't know. Let's see. Oh, and Remix asked, is Xavier Howard still available? From my understanding, he should be. Let's pull the homie up. Yeah, I don't see. Yeah, he's still available. He's still outside. No. That's an old. Yeah, I'm not seeing any new updates on Xavier. So, yeah. No new updates. I do like that. But I say, so yeah, it's still available, man. As long as it's available, I think it's just a phone call away, and it does become interesting or more interesting for guys like Xavier Howard at this stage. We just saw Stephon Gilmore sign this previous week. The reason why I say guys like Xavier Howard is a potential higher probability of those guys signing places now. Training camp, OTAs, that type of stuff is done, and for guys that are proven high-end veterans like Xavier, like Gilmore, like some of these other guys that are still available, they just, much rather spend time with your family, train on your own, than have to go into the facility or go into, some place for meaningless football, so to speak. So I can definitely understand that. But yeah, if he's interested, man, and he wants to be here, man, I would definitely, go and make that call, bring him in for a visit, check the health out. If the health is good and he's interested, man, yeah, it makes sense. Now the number is what's interesting because I know that was part of why the situation didn't work out in Miami, because he was highly compensated and he started to get a little banged up. But like I said, man, if he's healthy and that money works the right way, yeah, I don't see why that wouldn't work at all, man. So yeah, shout out to Xavier though, man. All right. Hannibal 090 rocking out in the building today. He says peace and love, Moats, and the chat fam. I like when you include the chat fam with the love for me because, like I said, we a group, man. All right. So one band, one sound. Shout out, shout out. He says if we had to pick one or the other, you forms with Miles Boykin for special team or okay. So he's asking if we had to pick between bringing back Miles Boykins or Martavis Bryant, which one do I like more? I mean, for me, I would go Miles Boykins just because I know for a fact the proven element of his special teams play. We still have questions about who's going to be, the effective gunner for us from a special team standpoint, something that we don't really think about until you watch some of these returns happen and you're like, whoa, why is he getting that explosive run? Well, it's because the gunner wasn't down there making him stop his feet or making the tackle. Miles Boykin does a heck of a job of that. Miles Boykin doesn't give you the production at receiver or the upside at receiver that a Martavis Bryant does. But at the same time, how long has it been since we've seen that production from Martavis in stadium at the NFL level? Whereas with Miles Boykin, we've seen his production in an NFL stadium more recently from a special teams standpoint. So that's why I would side Miles in that standpoint. But at the same time, with the way the practice squad things are working out, man, I don't hate bringing the homie Tay back. But that's also more of a personal thing, man. That's the homie. Like I said, man, we played together. I like him, man. So I'm always open to bringing him back. And he was productive during his time here. Now, it's been a long time since then. And the organization might not feel that they want to entertain that anymore. They might feel like, man, we're kind of in a different space with that room. And just the overall vibe is a different time. So maybe they don't want to go back and try to, see what's up with Tay versus risking what it could potentially become if it went negative. That could be one of the things. Like I said, I'm not 100% sure on it, but I could understand if that was the thought process from the organization. But I mean, both of them dudes, though, I think, bring certain elements to the team that would be a positive. But I guess I just think if we're just simply weighing the amount of positives that come with Miles Boykin versus the amount of positives that come with Martavis, I think it's more positivity with Miles. And then I think when we talk some of the negatives, how it can go wrong, I think with Tay, it has a chance to be a little bit more negative, especially when you think of just the fact that he's already been here before. So that could also, like I said, change it. Whereas with Miles Boykin, I don't know. I just don't think that it can get as loud or it would be as negative if it did go negative, right? So, like I said, man, just comparing and contrasting them cats like that. But let's see. Any new names popping up on the wire, on the market? Sheesh. Let's see. Now I see Noah Brown popping up. Obviously, he was down there with Tennessee. Was down there with Houston for a little while, man. That's interesting. I gotta see his production of lately though, because I know that's one of them big slot type dudes, man. Let me see. Noah Brown. Let's see. What was your production looking like a year ago? Because that could definitely be a little bit another one of those off the beaten path names for the wide receiver room. Yeah, because he had what? Oh, okay, yeah. About 567 last year receiving yards. Past 2 years, 500 receiving yards. Because I remember from Dallas more so than Houston. He's in Houston. He was in Houston last year. Did 10 games? Okay. 10 games, 7 starts. Yeah, 33 catches on 55 targets, 567 receiving, 2 tutties. That's clean. I ain't tripping on that. Obviously, in Dallas, that final year, he did the similar stats: 16 games, 13 starts, 555 receiving, and 3 tutties. That's very interesting, actually, man. That would be a very interesting name. What is going on with Noah though? Let me do some digging. Let's see what the streets are saying is going on with the homie Noah Brown real quick. Cause yeah, that actually is an interesting name. A little bit more proven production too than some of our youth that we currently have. Huh. Yeah, I gotta dive a little bit to see what was going on with him, man. Yeah, because I don't know enough about this situation. Like I said, I know Houston was crowded at receiver. We've talked about that. That's part of why we were bringing up John Mechie. And that's part of, man, yeah, because that's definitely part of why Mechie name was brought up. Because we say it was a lot of receivers over there. So if they went Noah Brown, that means they'll probably be keeping Mechie. I ain't tripping on Noah, man. I ain't tripping on him. If he's healthy, I ain't tripping on it because yeah, I do feel like these past 2 seasons he's been productive. Like I said, definitely I remember him in Dallas. Definitely was a good player in Dallas, man. But yeah, I like the production that we saw from him in the 10 games last year as well. So all right, shout out, shout out. Oh, and I see you, AJ Martinez, spinning a block one more time, rocking out. Says shout outs to Stan Clear, X1 Concepts, Leah Warren, and Najee. Shout out to Najee. And 30, get well with the hamstring. Now, without a doubt, we did get some comments from Jaylen Warren. Told media today that he will be playing. All right, so he will be playing week 1 versus the Falcons. I do like that. We know, obviously, he had been missing time because of the hamstring, or he had went out with a hamstring. So that's really good news to hear that, you know, he's going to be playing in week 1. We'll see what that looks like. I hope that he is healthy, and not just rushing back and giving us that bravado and pride and it sets him back, because we do know with the soft tissue injuries like hamstrings, man, if you pull it or it gets bad, it's going to linger on throughout the whole season. So that's the only thing that I would say, man. Just be cautious, be smart with it, though, because we know Jalen's game is not always power-based like Najee. He gives you more of the explosive out in the field, put that foot on the gas pedal and go. So that's my only concern with it, man. But I do like the fact that he is at least on record saying, you know, he's going to be playing week 1, man, because he is a very, very valuable asset to us and to this offense, man. Let's get it. Let's get it. And shout out to Let's Go UW. Also showing love. He says Tim Patrick is interesting because he's a very talented wide receiver. He's just been unlucky with injuries in Denver. And that's also real. Hey, Let's Go UW, man. Autocorrect is kicking your butt. It's giving you some trophies. I like how you following it up, though, every single time. You follow it up with a nice little regular comment. You be like, yo, asterisk, this is what I meant to say. That's what I meant to say. I dig it, baby. But yeah, shout out to that autocorrect, man. It's like that sometimes, man. It is like that. But yeah, Tim Patrick, man, I would agree with you, man. I remember him also, very good player, man, in terms of the optimism surrounding him. But yeah, he hasn't been available. And I wonder what are the injuries he's been dealing with, though, because that's the one thing I have not always followed with Tim. Let's see. Yeah, out of Utah. Yeah, because he had that nice contract. Okay, remember that. What has he been dealing with, though? I got to see his injuries, man. I don't know the specific injuries that he was dealing with. But that's an interesting name, man. Let me check out the production, too, with Tim of lately. Because it got to make sense, right? Got to make sense. Yeah, so his last time in terms of actual like game because we know he's been on practice squad and stuff like that, especially with the new updates with the rules. But his last season active was 2021. Like I said, he was balling when he did it, though. He did back-to-back 730, 742s, turns of receiving yardage, 6 and 5 touchdowns. But yeah, that's a little dated also. Whoa, hold on now, man. I click on to one link because I'm solo today. I ain't got the homie sidecar with me, man. And I missed the fact that we got a showstopper alert. We got a showstopper ring alert. Baller alert. Baller alert. Baller alert. Shout out the System Data Group One time for the culture. One time for the culture. Whenever C notes are dropped, the whole show stops. It's mandatory. All right. So shout out to System Data Group, man. We do appreciate you from the heart dropping 100 for the super chat, man. Definitely appreciate you. And he says, "What's up, Moats? Just dropping in to support the Sam 57. Two up, two down. If you know, you know." Shout out to the crib, baby. Shout out to the crib. He says, "Snatching boinking is definitely an appealing move for the special teams issues. Also, what would it look like getting tight end for slot cut, what would it look like getting Terrell Edmonds for the slot corner relief? Not a starter, but a stopgap." Shout out to you, System Data Group. I like your thought process, man. Number one, Miles Boykin for certain is an upgrade for our special teams unit. I think when you talk about the punting that Cam Johnston provides, we saw Miles Boykin thriving as a gunner and as a teamer while we had Presley Harvin here. And it's no disrespect to Presley Harvin, but we know he wasn't the most consistent. With Cam Johnston, he is a far more consistent leg in his accuracy punting the football. So I do think a guy like Miles Boykin would could be even better, in a situation like that. So I think that that's definitely an intriguing name. And I'm sure that Danny Smith is going to be looking around the waiver wire, but he's also going to be, in short conversation or short communication with my man Miles Boykin to make sure that, hey, that this could come right back. So be ready. Now, in terms of Terrell Edmonds to play the slot corner to give us some relief there, I like it, but I only like it in spurts. I think that Terrell would thrive versus the run. I think that that's where we would feel his presence felt the most, because he would honestly play it like a true Sam linebacker, a 4-3 Sam linebacker. I think that he would be hat on hands versus some of these slot receivers trying to block him. I think that, he doesn't have an issue chopping down some of these big offensive linemen that would try to climb up towards him. And I know he can tackle any of these running backs in the league. We've already seen that countless times, man. So I feel really confident about that. But my concern is if you playing him predominantly as that slot, especially early on in the season, when teams transition from trying to run out of that situation, right? Because we say teams will line up in, these passing formations to try to get you a nickel and then want to run it out of there. That's fine. We would offset that. But I do think that he would struggle trying to guard some of the true slot body types, those smaller, quick guys. And that's kind of what we talked about when we brought him up earlier. It was like, yeah, I think versus some of the bigger body slots, he can handle those guys. I think versus any tight ends that they're going to flex out, I think he would handle that. But I do think he would struggle when you put him against a Roman Wilson type, for example, right? A Calvin Austin type, for example. Some of those smaller Scotty Miller type, I think, would make Edmonds struggle to guard him. I think that he tackles him after the fact, but I think that those guys are going to be able to create the separation because of their lateral and short area quickness. And I think that that would be the offset. But if Terrell Austin and Coach Simon are locked in situationally and personnel grouping wise, you could get away with it, very similar to how we would do Mike Hilton and Cam Sutton. Mike Hilton, we had him more of the blitzing guy, more of the rundown tackle guy. Cam Sutton was more of our cover guy, more of the dude that we're going to have down the grass making plays and communicating and stuff like that. So for me, that's the way that I kind of look at Edmonds. I'm like, if we're trying to band-aid it early on, I think that you could get away with it. But I do feel like you're going to undress yourself a little bit from an offensive coordinator standpoint when now they're going to start figuring out, well, what can I do to force them to put Edmonds on this field and then get this particular matchup? That's going to be the new wave. And then for Coach Simon and Terrell Austin, it's going to be on them to figure out ways to offset that. Whether that is, okay, when he's out there and we feel like it's a coverage situation, man, you might want to blitz him. Or we might want to have his own concept here. Or we might want to have him where he's always going to have a safety over him or some type of help over him if that was going to be the case. I don't know how far they would go to make that happen, but I just think that that's some of the things you got to think about if you were going to use Edmonds in that specific role of being our slot corner. But I definitely like the conversation. I definitely like the comment. And definitely from the heart, man, once again, appreciate you, System Data Group, for sending that beautiful, beautiful high-end hundo super chat, man, from the heart. All right. Let's see. G_Honda asks, Moats, do you think Nick Herbig plays or do you think Nick Herbig's play will progress this regular season? Man, I think for Herbig, it will if he's given opportunities. I think for Herbig, the big thing is going to be how often he's on the field and what does the situation look like when he's on the field. Right now in the preseason, he was getting marquee downs. And what are marquee downs? Third downs, obvious passing situations, nickel package, dime package. He never came off the field while he was out there. So you got a chance to play the run early on, and then you might even get a play action pass. But you knew every passing down while Herbig was up in these games, he was going to get those reps. That changes drastically when TJ and Highsmith are out there. TJ and Highsmith are paid very well, and those guys are great at their jobs. Those guys are going to get the majority of the marquee downs, the obvious passing situations. So by, because of that, the ripple effect is for Herbig, when he rotates in, TJ and Highsmith aren't rotating out on third downs. Nah, them boys come out on first down, right? When you want to go play this run, let me get second and short. Hey, man, you come right here and get this play real quick. I'm going to get a breather. I'm going to come right back. That's that scenario, Whereas when we're talking about Herbig, that could just look different. When you're playing the run, when you're the guy that's dropping in coverage on base, yeah, your production is going to look the same. Now, you're going to be playing, yeah, but it's not going to be the same impact, the same type of splash that we were seeing from Herbig this preseason. Now, if he gets an opportunity to make some plays in that small situation and now it expands and he gets some more marquee downs, or say he becomes the third rusher when we go to our rover package, that could also have a positive effect on his production. I think that we could see an uptick in his progress there. But that's my only thing that I feel like is going to hold him back a little bit when we start this season. TJ and Highsmith, man, them dudes are dogs. And I don't anticipate either one of them taking a step back or regressing this season. So I think that could keep Herbig from, just not being able to fully grow into what we think he's capable of right now. Oh, no, Antoine Livingston asks, do I think if Mark Robinson will get cut this year? Absolutely not. I hope not. I mean, when I look at that room right now, I say surefire, Patrick Queen, Landon Roberts, Peyton Wilson are definitely in there. Definitely I like Mark Robinson in there. Cole Holcomb is the interesting one because obviously he's hurt right now. So part of me with Cole says if you put him on PUP or you put him on IR, you kind of put that to rest and everybody's happy. I don't know how he feels about that, though. If he is healthy or he feels that he can come back at some point this season, that might not be appealing. But the alternative is, if you don't do that, you have to keep him on active, but he's not probably going to play early on. If you go to release him, yeah, you're going to save some money, but you're also going to have some dead money as well with that. So I don't like that idea. Let me think. I feel like Tyler Matakavage makes it because of special teams element. Yeah, I think the big question is going to be Cole Holcomb to me, man. Whether they put him on, like I said, PUP to start the season, like officially put him up there, or you IR him while he's kind of still banged up right now. But yeah, I think Mark Robinson is making it. I think that the special teams value, I think the availability, and he played really well this preseason. Peyton Wilson, we know that's young money. That's the new pedigree dude. We're excited about him. Landon Roberts, that's the leader right now of the group in the sense of just that OG veteran vibe, man, the toughest physicality that he plays with. And we saw his body of work even last year, what he was able to do for us. Patrick Queen, we know he's locked in. That's new money. That's the face of the group. So we rocking heavy with that one, man. So like I said, man, I feel like we're good in that spot. And then I can't remember if I said red or not, man, in terms of no. Yeah, Matakavage or not. But with Matakavage, I feel like with him, special teams, that's his bread and butter. He's an all-pro, Pro Bowl type of guy in that space, man. I don't see that slowing down, especially with these new rules on kickoff. I think he's going to terrorize people, man. So, like I said, that's the reason why I think that those guys make it. But we'll see what happens with Cole Holcomb, man. That's the interesting one for me right now. Let's see. Now, G_Honda also asked about my take on our current secondary. I mean, right now, I like everything except our slot corner. I think I'm optimistic about the slot corner room because of, like I said, the youth with Beanie Bishop. But at the same time, it's an undrafted free agent that's a rookie that played in 2 preseason games, and it wasn't even 4 quarters in both of those games that he played in. It was like a couple quarters, I think 2 quarters that first game, 2 quarters his last game. So yes, I can feel optimistic about what I saw from him on tape. Some of the good, we obviously know he had some not so good as well, but it's just a difference when we're talking about banking on that for 17 games, or not even 17 games, just up until Cam Sutton is back, right? But having to do it not just 1 week, every week, and not just for 2 quarters, doing it for 4 quarters. It's just a lot of pressure that you're going to be putting on a player, and he's going to be in a very, very hot position. So for me, that's the only part that I feel just a little uneasy about still at the moment. But everywhere else, I feel good. I like JPJ and Dante Jackson outside. I feel like the safety spot we feel really good about in terms of Minka, Deshaun, KZ, even the young boy Ryan Watts. I like him. And then we know Killebrew, that's Mr. Special Teamer as well. But he also showed that he can, if it's a bind, play safety. Obviously getting the getting the splash play this preseason and making just a ton of good football plays, man. And he's a smart player. That's the other part with Killebrew. This isn't, anything foreign to him. We just know that that's not what his bread and butter is. He makes his living on special teams, so that's where his focus is. But he's still capable to play safety. But yeah, so like I said, that's kind of where I'm at, man, in terms of the safety or the secondary for us right now. And that could change, though. Like I said, we got till 4 o'clock today to see what the initial 53-man roster looks like. And then we know we'll have ripple effects following that this week as well, man. It just always happens, man. That's what we always say. Whatever the initial roster is, give it a couple of days. It's still going to be oh, man, we released this dude. We signed this dude. All right, we traded for this dude. All right, we signed this dude. Released this dude. Like, that always happens, man. So that's why, we kind of enjoy this little bit of a pseudo bye week as well, because it used to be, man, all them cuts happen and you right into this thing and then it's game time. So at least right now, man, everybody kind of gets a chance to reset, woosah, figure out the scenario, and then we know we got action next week, baby. All right. Ooh, now Malvo does it is a little bit pessimistic about JPJ. He says that he's going to get us cooked this season, and that's kind of the stance that he's taking. That's an interesting approach on that one, man. All right, let me see if you give me a little bit of. Oh, and he said because of his jamming is what you're bringing up. Okay, all right. And he says I'll take Corey Trice for cornerback one. Ooh, okay. I mean, it's bold. It's bold. I'll give you that. I don't personally agree with you, but I will say it's bold though, man. And yeah, I hope Corey Trice does develop and is a better player than JPJ, because then we got two dope corners. But today, I can't agree to make the statement that I would start Corey Trice over JPJ on the outside right now. Nah, baby, dog. Like, I can get the frustration that you might have when you see on occasion JPJ, draw a flag here or there, but there's a difference between flags being allowed and, yeah, some of the way that these receivers can get after some of these young corners, man, and have success against them. That ain't the JPJ issue, man. And you would much rather live with this issue than the latter issue, because we've seen what that one looks like. This one we eyed on right now, man. So that's my only thing, baby. But I do like it. I do like it though, man. And like I said, it's a different perspective with it. And obviously we know it could also be the whole thought process of, because I don't know it, then maybe it has to be better. Whereas because I've seen this, can't be any better. That is also a very dangerous thought process when we're talking about NFL rosters, man. It's the reason why certain guys haven't been out there, man. It's the reason why certain guys are out there a lot more. And you just got to trust them coaches at times for that too, all right? But I like your energy, though, baby. Shout out, baby. Let's see. Now, see, okay. Chuck Peasy says JPJ and Trice on the outside with Jackson in the slot. He likes that. Once again, I like it in theory, but I need Corey to show that he can play outside better than Dante or JPJ. I mean, personally, I kind of have it as Dante Jackson as CB1, JPJ CB2, with the ability to surpass and be the high end guy. I think he can grow into it this year, but remember, JPJ hasn't even played in 16 games yet, man. You look at Dante Jackson's resume, man. You look at his body of work. You look at what he's been able to do and replicate it time and time again. That's why I feel very confident about Dante Jackson early on. JPJ, I'm ultra biased towards him, man. Between my love I got for him, his pops, like just everything that he's done, the movement, and seeing the growth from him. I'm Team JPJ, but I just think he's young. And as a young player, you still got to prove it. This is about to be year 2. He's going to have a bigger target on his back this year, man. It's going to be a lot more eyes and a lot more expectation and just a lot more pressure. Like I said, with Dante, he's already lived this. He's already proven this. He's already done it countless times. And for JPJ, he is trying to show that he can do it the same way, whether it's the splash turnovers, whether it is the availability, whether it is the 6-7 years of high-end play. That's what we want JPJ to grow into. But just because he has the potential to do that, it doesn't mean that he's already surpassed the guy that has been doing it. And that's my only thing. But I do get it. And I know at times when we're having these conversations, that's the part where it's, very touch and go with how we communicate it. But that's why I kind of lean the way that I'm leaning. But I think we're in a great position because of that. If we're looking at Dante Jackson and we're saying that's the weak link, that's the guy we got to be worried about, I promise you we're going to be fine, man. It's going to be a great year if that's the case, bro. But that only happens if JPJ turns into what we all think he's capable of turning into. But we won't know that until we get to the regular season, which is, about to be here now, man. But shout out to them, both of them dudes, though, man. I think that with Omar Khan, what Mike Tomlin had been able to do in terms of turning over that cornerback position, you think about how we viewed cornerback for the Steelers, man, the past couple of years. It was one of our spots where we were like, bro, we kind of struggle here. Or, man, we're trying to figure out who can be the guy, right? Do we got to spin? Is it draft picks? Like, what is it? But now it's like, man, we got 2 legit dudes that can do what they're supposed to do on the outside and kind of free up these safeties and really complement this pass rush right now, man. So, like I said, that's the thing that I like about it. You also have youth in JPJ and in Corey Trice. You brought in a Beanie Bishop. That's more youth. Ryan Watts, more youth. So you're seeing the potential second wave of the guys that are going to take over and be out there full time. But I just think that right now we got to allow those guys to grow into it. Just because we know they're going to be the future doesn't mean that they're there right now. And if you put them out there prematurely, or if we lean on them too much prematurely, you could hurt them more than you help them. And that's the thing that we kind of want to be careful about, as we've seen in the past, man. But dude, I'm liking this, man. This has been a vibe. This is a vibe. All right, let me do another quick check real quick, see what's going on. If we got any new updates, roster release style. Not seeing anything on our end just yet. And I know it might be some action going on with the social media ranks. I see Mano bringing up Kadarius Toney. I ain't even gonna lie to you, baby. I ain't even tripping on Kadarius Toney, man. I ain't tripping on that one, bro. I am not tripping on that one. Let me see what the Chiefs thing got rid of, though. Kadarius Toney, okay. Ian Book, Phillip Brooks, J. Ron Hayek, Kyle Sheets, Jaquarius, Spidey. Okay. I ain't tripping on their roster right now. I ain't tripping on nothing over there just yet, man. But yeah, I'm all the way solid on Kadarius Toney, man. I'm cool with that one, bro. Yeah. You can just keep that over there, man. Yeah. Whether it needs to grow up, whether it needs to be more fundamentally sound, detail its work, I don't know. It just seems like, stuff. Yeah. I don't want to bring that here, man. I think we're good on that for right now. But if y'all digging what we're doing today, man, hit that like button one time for the culture. Don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, we solo vibed out. Since the homie Deke is under the weather, unavailable, it be like that sometimes. It be like that. Yeah, Kingdom Card always says, I'm with you. I would bring Martavis Bryant back prior to bringing in Kadarius Toney if I had to pick. All right, I just think that one, I don't know, man. I just don't know about it, man. Just don't know about him. All right, Mike Hood showing love. Shout out to the homie Mike Hood as well. He says, are we done with the Brandon Ayuk stuff yet? Question mark. I've been done with it, LOL. Salute Moats. Hope Diglett doesn't have COVID. I quoted a few weeks ago coming back from a conference in Kansas City. Dude, good call on that. I hope it isn't that, man. I didn't even think about that for the homie, man. He's struggle bus, though, man. He's definitely struggle bus. So, yeah, I'm hoping that my dog is good, though, man. So we will see, man. But y'all just send my dog thoughts, prayers, and a whole bunch of love, all right? Yeah. And I don't know if we're done with IU stuff just yet. We still in the market. We still talking. I haven't seen that official. The Steelers are off of the Brandon Ayuk's sweepstakes. I haven't seen that just yet. We're not off it. We're not out of it just yet. I know Coach Tomlin was talking today. I haven't seen any headline flash that says that he's off of the Ayuk situation yet either. I just think that we're all in the same spot that we've been for the past week and a half now, waiting on Ayuk to make a decision. Me personally, I've moved on from it, but it is still lingering. It is still a part of it. It's part of the convo. I feel like the longer it takes for him to get here, the harder it's going to be for him to live up to what the expectations are going to be. Because, he's loud, man. It's gotten real loud right now because of how this contract situation has been. And just the yo-yoing of playing back and forth, playing both sides a little bit, man. I don't know. I think it's starting to wear on Steelers Nation a little bit, man. But shout out. Hopefully everything does get taken care of, whether that is him getting paid in San Fran or if he is going to come to Pittsburgh, man. Just do the daggone thing, man. What are we waiting on? But we did see CD Lamb get that check. Shout out to CD Lamb, man, getting paid, man. So shout out to him on that, man. That it was one of the guys that we said potentially, if that didn't work out in Dallas, whether it would have been this year or next year, like, hey, man, we would definitely been interested in that, man. So it is what it is. But don't rule out Dak either. Right, we're going to find out. But, but shout out to Caleb Campbell, though, man. Spinning the block back on Xavier Howard, talking about how Xavier has played with all three of these guys, Minka, Deshaun Elliott, and Elandon Roberts. That is factual right there, man. Xavier was down there for a minute, man, and he's been dominant for a while when he was healthy. So, yeah, it'd obviously be a lot of familiarity, a lot of continuity there. If he were to come here, we would obviously utilize him, and he would be a major asset for us. Think about, man, a group of Dante Jackson, JPJ, Xavier Howard. Then you still got a Corey Trice, still got a Beanie Bishop. Yeah, we'll be feeling really, really good about that position group, man. But we will see, man. We shall see. But yeah, right now, man, we still got a couple more hours of waiting and seeing. So, like I said, man, that's kind of where we're at right now with it. But we're in a vibe, though. It's a cool little spot. But I think for today, man, that will do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we got a little hour 15 in this piece, man. We ain't tripping. We check on the homie. Hopefully he's doing better. If he is, then me and him back in the saddle tomorrow. If not, then you get the boy solo dolo. But we will have TG rocking out with us as well on Wednesday. And the phone lines will definitely be open and percolating like how we do, all right? But, so y'all saying Quez Watkins just got. Okay, interesting. So if Quez Watkins is being gone, okay. That's good for Calvin. We like that there. We definitely like that a lot. All right. And AJ Martinez one last time from the top rope. He says, Deke. Let's go, Diggler. He said them strippers, them dancers, taking care of Deke right now, man. Nah, don't put that on Deke, man. Deke getting sabotaged by the ladies, man. No, not the people that wear stripes. Oh, the pinstripers. Yeah, the pinstripers. Yeah, I'm sure, man. Hey, however you need to spin it, AJ. But look, man, shout out to my dog, man. He gonna bounce back, man. All right? Just throw us some prayers, man. Throw us some prayers to the homie. So let's get it, man. But like I said, man, that will do it for today's show, man. But I definitely appreciate the heck out of all of y'all rocking with me today, man. If y'all was digging it, hit that like button one final time. And don't forget to subscribe if you are new. But like I said, man, we will be back in the building tomorrow, whether it is solo or squatted up. But I appreciate you. And until next time, baby, peace.